Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. So, I just wanted to talk about systems of oppression today, and how it relates to the workplace. However, I do also want to take a moment and talk about what happened with George Floyd. An innocent man was murdered in front of us, and it's so disgusting and disturbing that words really aren't enough. There are no words to describe this. It's just so sickening. And also, what I find sickening are the other officers that were there and just watched. Nobody stopped him or intervened. And it just really just shows us the type of systemic issues that exist in organizations like that, including the police department. So I just wanted to start with that because it's really heavy, and I know a lot of us are dealing with a lot of emotions. So just wanted to take a few moments. And the reason I want to talk about systems of oppression, a lot of times we've all been in certain situations where it wasn't just an individual that we had an issue with. I'm going to specifically talk about the workplace because that's um, what I do for my job and my interactions and the clients that I work with. So it's my personal experience and professional experience from what I've seen and also personally witnessed in terms of systems that exist that are and that will oppress others in certain ways. So the examples that I have really are, there might be one individual or two or three individuals that have really inappropriate behavior, and that could be bullying type behavior. It could also be sexist and racist behavior. And, whenever I look at this, yes, they're a problem, but the bigger problem is that they are abetted, they are allowed to continue this behavior because of that people around them are enabling them by not saying anything, or what they do say or any actions they do take are not effective. They're not enough because they haven't changed those actions and the system remains in place. So I worked with a couple of organizations in the past that had a very, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like oppressive environment where people felt uncomfortable to speak up, and they were afraid, and there's a lot of different reasons why they didn't speak up, but that keeps the system going. So your silence keeps that system going. The individuals that actively covered and enabled the individual that was doing the actions that I'm talking about, whether it's bullying, certain comments, or just having certain biases, conscious or unconscious, that they're acting out with their behavior. So saying things that are like gaslighting and saying things that are putting people down based on what I've seen is based on gender, could also be based on race, and they tried to make it that there was an issue with that individual when that issue is really their biases and also their behavior that's problematic that was being called out. And I did another video on gaslighting, which you can check out. I also have a part 2 that I will post shortly about that, about toxic workplace environment. But I wanted to specifically focus on the systems in place that keep this behavior happening. Because if we just look at it, there's a way to get rid of this behavior, right? if we get rid of the individual that's causing the problem. But that individual by themselves is not the issue, is not the only issue, I should say, because they're the people around them that keep his behavior going, that keep him in that position of power, or the position that he's able to affect others' lives. And there's just this horrible feeling when people have when they work in those environments. And most of them, well, I've seen two outcomes, where people become either very passive and just kind of go into themselves